Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yes, we made it. We made it.
23. This is
Whew.
awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is your first time tuning in. My name is Antoinette, co-founder and the director here at We Are Listening. I have these lovely ladies with me.
Hi, I'm Cassandra. I am one of the directors and mentors for We Are Listening. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Vinay. I am the founder and president of We Are Listening.
All right, all right, all right. So I don't
What
know
are
if,
we getting into today?
well, last year, I say last year like it was so long ago. Feels
I
like
know, right?
Right.
like a few minutes ago.
Right?
All those minutes ago, we said.
It was just like, but no, a few weeks ago we did a vlog, and that was regarding lessons that were learned in 2022. And one of the topics that we touched on, or that came out of that, was referring to therapy. And we thought that we'd
Yes.
just touch a little bit on therapy today. Therapy is a topic that we can talk about in many different aspects. I think one of the points that I personally want to make, as someone that has been to a therapist, I've been to a therapist when I was younger, as a teenager, older, and as an adult. And there's one of the things that I want to have people take away from this, especially if you were someone that looks like me, meaning, African American, brown women. Um, we have to stop making therapy seem like it's such a bad thing.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
because it's not. It's the complete opposite of being a bad thing. It's such a necessary evil. You don't have to be, quote unquote, crazy or insane or be diagnosed with something extremely traumatic to be able to benefit from therapy. But there are people who are walking around who have had experiences that were traumatic, and they have not been diagnosed or identified as being traumatic, which is like, how are you going to be able to move forward in life, if you don't know? It's kind of like history, where they say, if you don't know where you've been, where you come from, you don't know where you're going. Same thing with therapy.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't deal with that inner child that has been through whatever issues, you're going to carry that on moving forward. And therapy is very important. So I wanted to, I said I
Yeah.
wanted to open up and start with that, because I really wanted to lay the foundation for that. Um,
And
myself,
the interesting, oh, sorry.
I'm not
I was
trying
going to
to
say
think,
the interesting,
because if you
I,
heard
I,
before, I'm an over explainer, but I'm not really explain. But this is just
and
a
we're
topic.
going to help you stop that.
We're just going to cut her off now.
But here, therapy is very dear to my heart, because I was that person that didn't think it would work.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
I don't mind sharing. I was diagnosed with PTSD. And no, I wasn't in the military. So in my mind, PTSD, I associated that with someone that was like in the military and wars and shootings. But no, it's just you experience something that is traumatic. And as a result of that, there are things that happen in your brain. And the empowerment of that you get when you go to therapy and you understand what is happening, and when
Mm-hmm.
you find out that, hey, I can heal from this, I can learn from this, I can deal with this, it's the most beautiful thing. And I didn't think that I would get to a point where I could consider myself healed, and now I am. Now, I'm not saying that I'm without issues, because nobody is. We all have things that we experience, but I can tell you without a shadow of doubt, I am nowhere near where I used to be. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it. We'll be on here till 2024 if I start
Yes.
the story.
What
Right.
I do
Right.
notice
And
is
I
that
want to go.
yeah. What I do notice is a lot of people are so much more open about talking about going to therapy. And I think that's amazing because, people used to see it as a stigma, and a lot of people probably still do. But,
Yeah.
people are just so much more open about their experiences and how effective it is. And I think that's very important to share. So if somebody watching this feels, oh, I don't want people to know I'm in therapy or whatever, maybe they'll open up and be able to share.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with therapy. I found a fantabulous therapist this year. And the thing about therapy is you think you're going for one thing, and the more conversation you have,
Mhm.
the layers you start to peel away, you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I thought I was just doing that, like Aunt said, because of this thing.
Right.
And
Right.
then you start to connect the dots to things that happened, things that you saw, things that you experienced, and all of the decisions that you're making, all of the actions that you're taking, it starts to make sense.
Yeah.
But for you to get to that level where you're being honest with your therapist, because it won't work if you're still hiding from yourself. So
Right.
you have to be honest with your therapist. And to get to that point, you have to find a therapist that you connect with. It might not be the first therapist. It might not be the second. It took me 3 times to find one that I was able to connect
Yeah.
with. And that was when I was honest with myself about what I was looking for. And I said to myself, listen, it has to be a Black woman therapist. I needed someone that when I walk in there, I don't have to explain certain things because
Yeah.
she just gets it. I don't have to speak the Queen's English. If I wanted to just lay out and start like, let me tell you I don't have to feel any kind of way. So finding a therapist that is culturally competent,
Hmm.
whatever that means, if you are LGBTQIA and you're looking for that particular therapist to understand don't stop until you find them.
Right.
Because
Don't get
having that connection with your therapist is so important because you're not going to be vulnerable if you feel like this person is judging you because they don't understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So if
That's
you
fair.
don't get that,
That's
do
good
not feel
advice.
bad saying, you know what, thank you, it's been wonderful meeting you.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think this is going to work.
Right.
Sure,
And
therapists
therapists
understand. They
understand that.
understand because they know there
Yeah.
has to be a connection.
Yeah.
They have to click. The person has to be comfortable because if they're
Yes.
not comfortable in opening up, the therapy is not going to work. And that's what sometimes gets discouraging, I'm sure, is that, people they're like, I went to see a therapist and I went to see her 3 times and she's not helping me, but it's because the
Right.
rapport is not there.
Yeah. You
Exactly.
find yourself
Exactly.
in there code switching when you're dealing with it's like, what in the world?
Yes. Let me tell you. We
Hmm.
are going to have our next vlog is going to be on code switching.
Yes. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
Yes.
are going to talk about code switching and not being able to feel like you can be yourself. Lately in the news and just in jobs everywhere, it's like we want everybody to be able to be their authentic self.
Absolutely.
Do you really? Because we put on our professional voices and things like that. So we are going to touch on that topic. That is the next vlog we are going to touch
Good.
on.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a good topic. There are some people that don't know what code switching is or don't know it by its name. So I think that that topic is definitely going to be a really, really awesome topic.
That's going to be an interesting one. Antoinette and I are talking about therapy, and have you never had to go experienced it?
I've never
Are you
had,
one of the lucky
I've
few that never had to go?
never, I've never had to go. I've never, I don't feel that I've had any traumatic experiences that would warrant me to speak to a therapist. I'm completely for therapy. I love
Mm-hmm.
that therapy is available for whoever needs it for whatever. Sometimes it's situational. You might go through something traumatic and you just need
Yeah.
a therapist at the time or whatever. But I personally haven't gone to therapy, but I do know how effective therapy is for people. I've seen it, I've witnessed it. I know so many friends and family that's gone and how it has changed their life. Yes. So
Yeah.
it's an highly effective means of getting to know who you really are, getting to bottom of issues or stumbling blocks in your life, trying to understand why you make certain decisions and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that part right there, the decision making, because you think you're making it for one reason, and you sit
Yes.
down and you peel away the onion layer, and all of a sudden you're like, well, my goodness, jeez.
Yes.
And
And a
what
lot of times, even speaking to my best friend, who everybody knows is Antoinette. Hi, Antoinette. And speaking to her over the years, I always joke on her because I'd be like, Bestie, I was telling you that. And she just, but she wasn't at a time in her life where she was ready to look at certain things a certain way. She wasn't ready to
Mhm,
hear certain things a certain way, you know. So a lot of times therapists open when you're ready, though. You have to be ready
mhm,
too. You
yeah.
can't go if somebody's forcing you to go. You're not going to open up completely. You have to be 110% in
Hmm.
and have a rapport with your therapist. And then all of a sudden,
Yes.
the floodgates open. Things start becoming clearer, you know. So I always tease Antoinette and tell her, I was telling you that 15 years ago.
And
What
15 years ago,
though?
We
Antoinette
were
wasn't ready to
10.
hear it.
We were 10.
Yes.
One of the things that I also want to speak on with regards to therapy is coping mechanisms. So when you
Mm.
go to therapy, it's not going to automatically, magically fix your anxiety, your depression, your PTSD. But while you're trying to get to that point, and it doesn't mean that when you go to therapy that you're always going to be medicated too. Because I know some people like, well, I don't want to take
Yeah.
medicine. There are so many
Conversation.
ways it can help you with breathing techniques, tapping techniques. There's neurofeedback therapy. That's what worked for
And
me.
sometimes just talking about
Talk therapy.
just getting
Mm-hmm.
it off your chest, you know, having somebody that's neutral, that doesn't know both sides, where you can just open up and talk. Some people just need to
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. So basically, I would say in closing that the purpose of this particular vlog was to get you to see the benefits of therapy, the fact that it is not a stigma anymore. It is okay to seek a therapist that meets that you can identify with, whatever it is, if it's LGBTQIA. Um, um, if that's it, if you're a Caucasian woman, if you are a Mexican man, if you are an Asian, it doesn't matter. We encourage you all to seek that therapy if you feel like you need it. Some people may not, like Vinay said, she hasn't been in a situation where it was something that she needed to do, and that's a wonderful thing. But for those of you who feel like something might be a little off, or you're a little sad, or you need to speak to someone, or you've experienced some kind of traumatic situation in your life, some form of abuse. And abuse doesn't always have to be physical, it could be mental, it could be
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes those
Financial.
Mhm.
very hard types of abuse, because um, people tend to sympathize or empathize when they see a physical abuse because they can see it and it's tangible. But when you're emotionally going through that and people can't see it and they don't know, so you might kind of hold that in, a therapist can help you through that. And finding
Yes.
therapy that you identify with is going to help you to feel vulnerable enough to get to that place. What were you going to say, Vinay?
Does retail therapy count?
Wait,
Yes,
I
it
engage in
can.
that
it
very
can,
often.
as long as it doesn't.
It can, unless your retail therapy becomes a problem, and then you got to go to a real
Now you need a
therapist.
therapist for your
Therapist
retail
about
therapy.
You're like, I'm overspending, and I don't know why.
I can't save any money.
that's fun.
Which we talk about in a program that we have on financial literacy. I digress.
We got you covered in every angle. We covered in every angle.
Yes.
So,
So our next vlog, we are going to talk about code switching. And let's give them a
Yeah.
little background about code switching before we go, just in case they're like, what is that?
We're going to give you a little teaser, a little trailer before the main event.
Okay.
So, code switching is when you have to change your tone, your inflection. It can even be you change your hair. You don't wear your natural hair to work. It can be how you dress. All to fit into the majority culture of where you are. So that is a little trailer on code switching.
We're going to divulge into that in our next vlog. So stay tuned. And we're so happy that you guys have tuned in. We hope that we gave you some good advice. We hope that for anybody who feels like they need to talk things out, or they need to get to the bottom of something that they're going through or they've gone through, see how it has affected their lives today, please, please, please look for a therapist. Don't feel bad. Do what you got to do for your life. You're gonna be so happy that you did.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I just add, while we are not therapists, we mentor. And if you feel like you just need some mentoring, please feel free to come to our website, check us out. We're accepting mentees. Our services are free, and we just want to be here to help you.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies.
And happy 2023.
Happy 2023.
Can't wait to get all the goals. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.